My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your pardon for my sins and grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Jesus, in today's gospel, it seems that you direct to us three separate messages, separate ideas that you want us to consider. Let's read them. Do not give what is holy to dogs, or throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn and tear you to pieces. That's the first idea. The second idea. Do to others whatever you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. And now the third idea. Enter through the narrow gate, for the gate is wide and the road is broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter through it are many. How narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few. Jesus, now we're going to consider these three ideas that you offer to us in this great sermon. Do not give what is holy to dogs, or throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot and turn and tear you to pieces. Now, Jesus, it seems that the first part, do not give what is holy to dogs, seems to correspond to the last part, lest they turn and tear you to pieces. After all, we're not talking about golden retrievers and Labradors and poodles here. We're probably talking about the wild jackals that lived in the wilderness around Israel. Those dogs certainly might have attacked and torn someone to pieces. Do not give what is holy to dogs, lest they turn and tear you to pieces. The second and third phrase also seem to go together. Do not throw your pearls before swine, lest they trample them underfoot. What are you trying to tell us here, Jesus? What do we have that is holy? What do we have that is precious? And how could we take that which is holy and that which is precious and throw it to dogs or throw it to swine? And then that holy and precious thing will be ruined and we ourselves will be attacked and destroyed. What might that refer to? I think, Jesus, you are talking about our time and our hearts. Our time is precious, Lord. And what we can do with our time can be holy when we do it for your glory, out of love for you. But it is possible that we can waste our time and throw it to dogs, throw it before swine. Our time can get wasted, trampled underfoot. Our bad use of time can come back to bite us. Now that we're in summertime, perhaps there are some students who are praying right now with this podcast. Maybe they can consider the extra free time that they are enjoying. Maybe they have an opportunity to hang out with friends some evening, but instead of hanging out with friends, maybe they just prefer to stay home and watch some series. And then they stay up late watching that series. And so instead of getting up early and doing some exercise, instead they just kind of sleep in. And then because they slept in, they didn't make any time for prayer. But when they finally got out of bed and kind of thought, oh, I should probably pray, but then they pull up their phone and then immediately maybe they get distracted by their social media. And then later on, maybe instead of getting lunch with a friend, they just think, oh, I'll just chill at home and listen to this podcast. And then maybe in the afternoon when finally it's time to work and they pull out their laptop, maybe before getting to work immediately, maybe they just start checking the scores for the World Cup. And then finally comes the late afternoon or evening, and there's an opportunity to help a neighbor, but instead they just think, I'll just play some video games. So much time. So many opportunities to give of oneself, to be with other people. And instead, what was holy is thrown to the dogs. What is precious is thrown before swine. The dogs and the swine of laziness and selfishness. Perhaps also, Jesus, you're referring to the heart. Our heart is holy. Our heart is precious. And maybe, who knows, maybe we're spending time with bad acquaintances, people who are dragging us down. Maybe we're throwing what's holy to the dogs, throwing our pearls to swine. Or maybe people have settled for a lame or non-committal girlfriend or boyfriend. Maybe that's giving our heart something which is holy, something which is precious to dogs, to swine. The second message you have for us today: do to others whatever you would have them do to you. This is the law and the prophets. It seems, Jesus, that this is actually just a lower threshold, a lower limit of Christian love. Do to others what you would have them do to you. Anything less than this, Jesus, would not be Christian. If we were to do things to other people that we wouldn't want to have done to us, we would be hypocrites. But Jesus, you give us the fullness of the law of Christian love only later in the context of the Last Supper. You say, "A new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another." Jesus, you have loved us with an infinite love. There's no upward growth of love in our lives that could possibly reach the amount of love that you have shown to us. So whereas in the Sermon on the Mount, you're just saying, don't do anything bad to anyone that you wouldn't want them to do to you, although you say it positively. You say, do to others whatever you would have them do to you. Still, that finds its perfection and completion in the mandatum novum, a new commandment I give to you, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you also are to love one another. The third message that you have for us in today's gospel: enter through the narrow gate. For the gate is wide and the road is broad that leads to destruction, and those who enter it are many. How narrow the gate and constricted the road that leads to life, and those who find it are few. So here, Jesus, you are juxtaposing, you are contrasting two different life choices. One life choice leads to destruction. The other life choice leads to life. The one to destruction is wide. It is broad. It is easy to pass through. And you say that actually many do pass through that gate and go to destruction. And you say that the gate is narrow and the road is constricted that leads to life. And you say people who find it are few. Notice, Jesus, you don't use the same verb enter. You use the verb find. It is hard to find that narrow gate, that constricted road. It's a whole separate question whether if someone finds it, do they actually enter into it? Clearly, Jesus, we go back to the command that you give us at the beginning of this message: enter through the narrow gate. Implicitly, you are telling us, do whatever you have to do to find that narrow gate and that constricted road, and do anything you have to do to enter in through that narrow gate, going along that constricted road. Because at the end of that road, through that gate, we have life. So, is it hard sometimes to hold back from throwing holy things to dogs, from throwing pearls before swine? Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but it's worth it. It helps us to go through the narrow gate. Is it hard to do to others what we would have them do to us? Yeah, sometimes it's hard, but that's how we enter through the narrow gate. No one said that being a Christian was easy. On the contrary, It is going along the constricted road. It is entering through the narrow gate. Jesus, help us to take to heart these three messages that you have for us in today's gospel. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this meditation. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.